First off, we have Rob. And Rob is asking, what is the most time-effective way to prospect for listings? Now, I like this question, but it's also very specific, which is good. So Rob's asking, what's the most time-effective way to prospect for listings? So he's not talking about buyers, and he's not talking about generally some strategies out there. He's talking about how can he best use his time. So let's discuss this. When we're thinking about the most time-effective approaches to things, often the most time-effective approach is dealing with your SOI, because your SOI is going to send you referrals, repeat, and referral business for that matter. So dealing with our SOI will be some of the best use of our time. In fact, it is the best use of our time. That being said, if we are looking to be efficient with time, how can we go about approaching that with our SOI? So we do have to leverage technology, and we have to leverage the fact that there's automated reports that we can send out to these people so that they are getting information that is of interest to them. So what is information that's of interest to most people in their community? For most people, the most interesting thing is what homes are selling for in their community, or said another way, the value of their house. And so one of the most impactful and one of the most time-effective things that we can do is we can let people know what homes are selling for in their community. It's as simple as that. And so by focusing on our SOI, and by actually providing them with information on what homes are selling for in their neighborhood, this is one of the most effective ways that you can prospect for listings. So how can we actually go about doing this? Well, there's a few things that we can do. First off, I like to set everybody in my database up to receive the sales that have occurred in their community over the last month. So they're all receiving sales that have happened in their community based around their property type over the last month. Now, I know not everybody will be receiving these, but for the most part in my database, most people receive these. However, if I don't have their information, or it's kind of too soon to just be setting up automated alerts, or they haven't requested them, or I haven't asked if they'd like to receive these, I can still send them properties. So I see a home sell on their street, and then I can send that to them. And so oftentimes we'll tend to overcomplicate this. And we'll start to think about different ways that we can get in front of people, when in fact, some of the most effective use of our time is just sending people properties and sales in their community. It's extremely simple and it works very, very well. To go one step further though, the next thing that we can do is really starting to get engaged with our SOI. And so SOI related events and actually hosting events and having people over and actually spending time with them is one of the most impactful and also most time efficient ways to prospect for listings. Getting face-to-face with them is key. Now, if we're thinking about time, if I wanted to see everyone in my database, that would take a long time. However, if I'm hosting an event and I'm inviting these people over, or I'm having some type of event, or I'm hosting a networking event, or I'm doing a kids' day in the park, these sort of things are very scalable because you'll end up saying hi to a lot of people in a short time frame. So if we want to be very, very mindful of our time, having actual SOI related parties can be very, very effective. Now, outside of those strategies, what else tends to work? Well, a couple other strategies will work, and door knocking and geofarming can work very, very well. But we also want to be conscious here of what we're doing. So when it comes to geofarming, this can be a great way, actually one of the best ways to get listings. However, it's also one of the slower ways to get listings. It is one of the best ways, but it also takes time, as in sometimes a year, if not more. So what we need to be thinking about when we're thinking about geofarming is, can we actually pair with a company that can actually send out our mailers on our behalf? Can we actually put a strategy in place where we're being part of the community? And then can we actually engage in that community and do so for over a year? Now, most agents won't. And that's why this strategy works so well, because if you're able to stick with geofarming for over a year, the payoffs can be huge, and they will be huge. However, most agents will not do it over a long period of time. And so this can be a great strategy, especially if we want to focus on the listing side, since the question was more focused here on prospecting for listings. And then door knocking. Door knocking, if done so appropriately and not done so by way of trying to actually get a listing, but instead providing information to that homeowner, then it actually becomes a very effective use of our time. Now, we are thinking here, door knocking, we're going to be knocking on 100 doors. We may get 99 no's. I get it, but it's a lot more impactful than cold calling because we're getting face-to-face. And because we're getting face-to-face, we're providing something of value, we're turning around and we're leaving. We're not actually trying to engage them in any conversation beyond, here you go, can be very, very effective. So there are other strategies that you can use. You can be running social ads in order to get people to fill out their home address so you can do CMAs for them. That can work, although I find it doesn't work super well. The more that we can get face-to-face and we can get in front of people in a community basis or on an SOI basis, the more we will sell and the more listings that we will be able to get. And a lot of times when it comes to filling out your home address information and getting an automated CMA report, a lot of people are less inclined to do that now. You will still get a few, but these strategies, as in door knocking, geofarming, as well as just focusing heavily on our SOI by sending them information, sending them what's selling in their community, and not actually looking for anything in return, as well as having events, these can be the best use of our time in order to generate more listings.